Where do people typically start?
My basement?
Yeah.
My garage?
Yep.
There's some mornings I wake up and I'm like, I'm done. I just don't want to do this anymore. Not that I don't like it, because actually if you went and talked to Brenda, she would say, I've never met anybody who seems to like what they do as much as you do. You come in here, you're the happiest guy in the whole world.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I do like this. I do like this.
If you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, like what's the whole point of making all this money? It's just in a bank account.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Something, whatever brings you joy. This is my friend Jeff, who went from racing horses to building a $10 million a year flooring business. So in this video, he's going to talk about how he got started, how he built it, and stay tuned where he talks about advice for new people who are just getting started. How'd you get started in this? Were you born into a flooring company? Did you wake up with a cradle and a piece of carpet?
Yeah, I've just always longed to sell flooring now.
Yeah.
Hey, so my dad was in the clothing business in Montreal, owned a bunch of racehorses out of college, and I say like I want to tell you that I finished college, but I think it was 2 years. I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I went to work for my dad, and it was more of me hanging out at the racetrack. And eventually I got my license, bought some horses, and for about 12 years of my life I trained and drove racehorses. My father-in-law was in construction, and he told me about one of his buddies that looking for a sales guy to help him develop franchises. He had Rita's Water Ice and a bunch of other ones, like Janitorial. One of them was a carpet company at the time. And I worked for him for 3 months. He wanted to give me a $300 draw.
Okay. Yeah.
And no marketing. He wanted me just to knock on doors. And it was interesting because when I did make some sales, I realized that the margin in flooring is good. I sort of liked it. It was good. So I bought the franchise in Cherry Hill, which that franchise system was really mom and pop, drive a van.
Yeah.
I say mom and pop, it was no mom, it was just pop. It was just me driving a van.
Yeah.
And it was a very small territory, right? They got acquired by FCI, and I had a choice to choose which direction I wanted to go, independent or
become a franchisee.
Became a franchisee, and like I said back then, we were doing $1.5 million. I mean, $1.5 million, maybe $1 million, but it was me.
Yeah.
So it was making a decent living, and then sort of grew into. I had a good merchandising product knowledge at that point. Obviously, I knew how to sell.
How many years had you been in it when it got acquired?
Like 8 years.
Okay, so you're pretty into it.
Yeah, I was into it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say.
So tell me about this job. Where are we at today?
All right, we're at Dr. Seekin's office. This is going to be an orthodontist office. I do work for a company called Beacon Construction. This is one of their projects. Roughly about 5,500 square feet of carpet tile, luxury vinyl plank, and obviously we did what's called a mill base in here. It looks like wood, but it's actually a plastic composite base.
How much was this job?
Roughly about $55,000.
$55,000, okay. And how long for you guys is to start to finish?
We were in here actually only 4 days. This particular construction company I met about 8 years ago. They were actually in need. The company ProSource went out of business locally here, and inevitably they had a project in the works, and I jumped in, helped out, and they sort of liked me, and I hung around for the last 7 years.
So they're a big builder, you build the relationship with them, and then they've got a project like this. They're the GC, they're hiring subs, they sub this type of stuff out to you guys.
Yeah.
How do you find the guys to do the job? Are these all your employees? Who do you use?
In Cherry Hill, it's all subcontractor. I have just one warehouse guy, one PM, and then everything else
is sub-based. So
sub-based,
you're finding guys, it's all they do, every day they install it.
Every
you give them
day.
a job like this, and then you just tell them, hey, this is what it's going to pay, X amount of dollars.
Yeah, they know roughly going in.
You want it or not.
This might be $1.25 a foot to put down, and base $1 a foot to put, and carpet tile maybe $5. And they know that going in, and it's just really about quantity. So they send me their bill. Generally, there might be something a little extra for floor prep. But at the end of the day, we know pretty much the number is going to come in at.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about bringing people in? You said you're in Vermont, you have it, but like, does it ever make sense, or do you like the variability of?
I wouldn't say if you're running. So let's say I'm running 6 crews out of Cherry Hill.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it'd be a bad idea to have one in-house crew. I used to.
Yep.
But then you also need someone to manage that crew, right?
Okay.
Because they're if they show up here, I know it sounds crazy. Difference between a sub and an employee. Sub shows up here and there's painters here. He moves them out of the way and does his job.
Yep.
In-house guys sit in their car and they wait till they're done. Sorry, I don't mean to.
And you're paying them the whole time.
And I'm paying them, right?
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because they're independent business owners, right?
Yeah.
And so they make money. The quicker they get it done with the high quality, because they don't want to come back either, right? Because if they mess it up, say, hey, you want to get paid, you got to come and fix it.
And if there's a problem, they're going to come fix it, right?
Yep. So they're incentivized for speed and quality of work. So what are some things that can go disastrously wrong in a job site? Like, what are some of the big issues that you've had?
So commercially, what could go wrong is just timing. As you come in here, as you can see, painters.
Yep.
So when we started, we had guys painting here. We're like, all right, guys, we're scheduled to do flooring. You got to go, right? So timing with commercial jobs is a challenge, and you need to be at their sort of beck and call, because they're the ones that are controlling when those chairs get delivered. So there's some timing versus Mrs. Jones. Not that I want to call Mrs. Jones and say, hey, unfortunately, we're not going to be there at 8. We'll be there at 11, or we'll be there tomorrow. Mrs. Jones might absorb that a lot better than these guys do. Because
Do you find your competitors do that?
No.
Or is that like a different mentality?
It's a different mentality.
Okay. To say, hey, we can do it. We can start Monday versus, hey, it's limit my calendar 3 weeks.
Yeah, because it is work, right? So, perfect example. So let's say, we have a light week. And I'm calling ahead some of the commercial jobs. Hey, can we come in and start doing floor prep? Hey, can we come in and maybe do the tile work? Hey, can we come in and do this? Because I want to fill my days, because there's only so many days in a year that you could produce that.
It's like that hotel room, it expires.
But it's extra work, right? So a project manager, unless he's on the same page you're on, he says, I'm not pushing for Saturday, Sunday, because that means my phone might ring. So you got to find the right person who's willing
and
to
incentivize them on that efficiency.
Absolutely, right. Everything is based on production. Sales are great. I mean, in fairness, we've had years where we sold just shy of 12 million, but we're only able to put nine plus in the ground. For some reasons, one, maybe the building's not ready, the house isn't built, whatever. But sometimes it really is us pushing them, saying, hey, we don't have capacity. So COVID was that. COVID, we had a big jump. COVID, pre-COVID, like 6 million, post-COVID, 11 million. That took a little bit of building your infrastructure. The way the economy is in 2024, there's no lack of people right now to put stuff in, which is great. So if you could sell it, you could get it done. So I think there's more.
That sense of urgency, though, to drive it and keep going.
There is more opportunity in a bad economy than there is in a good one. Because in a good one, everybody good's working. So finding good salespeople, finding good installers, there's a much greater opportunity in a little softer economy. So.
All right, so how big of a warehouse do we have here?
So the building is 28,000 square feet. 8,000 is office and showroom, and about 20,000 square feet of warehouse here. So I'm sitting on about 3 acres. In the back, I have 5 containers that also have padding. So it just makes it easier for my guys in the morning.
Is this the space you started in? Or where do people typically start?
My basement? My garage?
Okay. So day one, you started in a basement, you have a van.
I had a shared warehouse, and if I had a job on Saturday, I would have to go to the shared warehouse, because it wasn't open Saturdays. I would have to take whatever it was, which back then was carpet, mostly carpet we sold. I would literally put that roll of carpet into my van, which I had to empty into my garage, bring it home, right, and then wait for the installers to come to my house to get it. Right, that was, so there's the humble beginning, right?
How long did you do that for?
Too long, probably. No, probably a year of being there, and then the place before this, I rented out just about every office in my building that I didn't need.
A big space, subbed it out.
Yeah, I was paying $5,000, collecting $4,600 in rent because I just wanted a warehouse. Then I came here and things sort of changed a little bit, but
how long ago? How many years you said?
14.
14 years. And
what
were you doing in revenue then? Do you remember?
2 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Then what are you doing today?
We'll sell over 11 million this year.
Okay.
Hopefully bill out at least 10. Like I said, sometimes the buildings aren't ready yet, but it all catches up.
All right, so what do we got here?
It's a 2018 Z06 with a track pack, which is the nicest 2018 Corvette they made. I bought this in 2020. I bought it. It was 2 years old. It had about 2,000 miles on it because I couldn't get a new one because I forgot to order one. So I had a 2014 regular Corvette that I ordered back in the day, convertible as well. The one behind it is that's the brand new Z06. That's
do you use some of your own work on it?
What's that? No, that is just for show. So that is strictly the tools in here would be an embarrassment to snap on.
Yeah, we all do that.
This actually is a 24 Z06 with a track pack as well.
Where's the handle?
Right under that thing.
Oh man.
This one will do for Corvette.
Push of a button.
Push of a button. You know what I like about it? The motor moved the car.
That's
Did
right.
you see that?
Yes, I did.
Actually, the craziest thing about this car, this is the craziest thing. Just look at the tires that it came with. The car doesn't have.
They're already bald.
Those are cup tires, so they are literally almost like slicks. There's a tread that moves inward, like the inside tread. There's a little bit more. So what's so crazy is they're so sticky, the tires. If I leave it for too long and I back up, it pulls the VCT off the floor. Is that messed up? That's sort of crazy, right?
You want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like, what's the whole point of making all this money? It sits in a bank account.
Exactly.
Rather than
Yeah.
something, whatever brings you joy, whether that's
and it's
car
cars.
or
I tell
boat.
people it's pretty funny, right? So I like cars and watches.
Yep.
Everything else Costco.
Yep.
Home improvement in general, like if you really think about it, if you're getting a pool, a fence, waterproofing, someone's got to come to your house, right?
Yep.
As you can walk into a showroom, and bricks and mortar have been around for 100 years, right? And bricks and mortar might be where people start the process sometimes, but I think people's time nowadays is just a little too precious. So we come out to a house, we have to measure, right?
Yep.
No choice. We measure, we show you samples, and as you can tell by this, there's no lack of samples. LVP, carpet, hardwood, laminate, tile, whatever you need, right? And then on the spot, we give them an estimate, right? And if they're happy with the estimate, they literally sign our tablet, and the process is done.
Get a check.
Get a check. We order the material the next morning or that day, depending on how fast we get back to the office. And I'll be honest, within 10 days, they have new flooring.
That's
and
amazing.
that process doesn't get any
Versus
easier.
you go to the house and then you got to come here or
No,
like somewhere.
They come here,
right?
they get a sample, maybe 4 of them if they're
Yep.
lucky.
Oh, yep.
We're probably one of the few companies that doesn't say we need your credit card, we just want your name, right? They throw it into their car or we help them, they struggle to get it out because the samples are big. They go home, and they put it and they go, oh my God, that's not what I thought it was going to look like. Load it back in the truck, come back and start the process over again. It's almost, it's sort of silly, right?
So how many salespeople do you have? And
So-
I guess, and I know we've got a couple different territories, so I guess.
So in Cherry Hill, 6.
So six. Each one has their own van.
Each one has their own van. They take their van home. When we hire someone, we give them a van. They get new samples. They get a rack system in it. They get a tablet. They get a cell phone, and they get a truck they could drive home.
So and they're also the designer too, right?
They are the
So
designer,
they're the salesperson and the designer. Is that
Absolutely.
Is that a challenge, like to find someone who has both those skills? Or are you training for one or looking for the other?
Yeah, so it is. It's. I mean, that's the biggest challenge to growth is finding good salespeople that actually care about the house they're in to show them the right product.
Yep. Are they commission based? Like how do you pay them? How much money can they make? What's that look like?
So my salespeople range from 75 to 250.
In total comp of what they're making.
Yeah, in total comp. But I'm really generous with my bases. Some of my bases usually start at 65.
So 65 plus a percentage of the job.
Yes.
I think one of the things that a lot of people don't know about franchises is that it's just a whole private network, right? And once you're in it, that franchisees when they want to get out, they want to sell to other franchisees because it's like you. It's like you got your friends. You're at each other's house. Like you know each other. It's your neighbor.
It really is a
you
community.
You share jobs and subs, and so like. They want to get out. They're not going to sell to some random guy on Biz by Sell. They're going to call you first, and they're going to trust you. Maybe they'll hold the note, seller financing. You get a deal, they get a deal, and everybody wins, right? And then you have the ability to have all these synergies there. Now, instead of every one of them having separate warehouses, right? You have your existing space. And
so freehold, we did put a showroom in, and we put a small warehouse. But at the end of the day, most stuff comes here. If like I said, if we buy in bulk, we'll just run it up the road as 42 or 48-minute ride.
So how do you see the business growing over the next 5 years? Is it more acquisitions? Is it continue to grow this? Is it
It's more acquisitions. Because acquisitions that come with people are an easier way to grow. So 10 years ago, I think 10 years, I met a guy named Mark Regal. Mark Regal was in Indianapolis running at the time, $25 million CertaPro.
Okay.
And he told me that he will buy anything 4 hours away.
Okay.
And that sort of was my, it was before I had bought anything. It was sort of my thought process. But I always believed that in a perfect world, Vermont could almost operate out of here, but 6.5 hours is a little bit of is a challenge there, but strong market, really strong market.
What do you think holds you back the most from 25 getting to 20 million? Is it finding the deals? Is it your own kind of like structure and kind of, I don't know.
Old age?
Yeah, motivation to do it. You know, because at a certain point you've kind of you know, you have a lifestyle that you enjoy, and it's like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's a game you play. Is it fun? Like, where do you get your joy from? You know?
So there's some mornings I wake up and I'm like, I'm done. I just don't want to do this anymore. Not that I don't like it, because actually, if you went and talked to Brenda, she would say, I've never met anybody who seems to like what they do as much as you do. You come in here, you're the happiest guy in the whole world. I said, yeah, I do like this. I do like this. And ironically, my wife started a second career, late. My wife's a photographer, and she started like about 8-10 years ago, right? Went back to school, University of Arts, got a degree, and she always liked photography, but she took it to a level of understanding editing. Well, if I wanted to retire now, my wife's working. She's like, you know, she had an event last night. She's this, that. She's, I got to go do this. Oh, I got to do this. She does.
She just be by herself at home all day, right?
Right. So I'm like, all right. And that's sort of what prompted me to buy the next franchise. Yeah. But I do like the game.
The other thing I think you guys is pretty interesting is they bring in, so Ben Hardy, right? So like bringing in expert authors, speakers to train you, right, directly from, you know, the horse's mouth, right? Yeah. Talk a little bit about that.
That's awesome. So, you know, so Ben Hardy, who had the privilege of meeting and listening to probably about 6 times now, I think he will be at convention. No, I don't think. I know he'll be at convention for the last part of his session with us. Written some really cool books, you know, Who Not How, 10X is easier than 2X. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what we talked about earlier. It's growing, right? It's listening. I'm not saying you're going to leave verbatim. You're going to take every word he said and go change your life, but some people do, and some people take pieces, and the pieces that fit for them, like really, Who Not How is like. I don't think no offense, Ben, you don't have to read the book. Honestly, the title says it, right? Don't hire someone who you have to train, and I.
It's you make a to-who list, not a to-do list.
Exactly.
One of the things that I got out of it. So who can help me with this? Not what do I need to do.
And I did a little thing at conference, and somebody, you know, at the end of my thing, how to get to 10 million, was, so how long does it take you, how long should it take me to train my salesperson? I'm like, I said, no disrespect, but I don't think you're capable of training somebody how to sell. So why don't you hire someone who knows how to sell? I said, did you train your accountant?
How to do your taxes?
Your tax accountant, did you tell him exactly how to fill it all out? Because I just give him my stuff and he does whatever he's supposed to do because he's the who.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you could go back and talk to your 25, 30-year-old self, what's something that you wish you knew back then that you know now?
Oh shit, I would have started sooner, right? Would have started sooner. As you get older and you understand how money works for you, like when you invest in things, I would have held off buying, you know, stereos for my car, or you know, or going to nightclubs.
What have you put that money into?
Spending all my money on bottle service. They didn't have that when I was a kid, by the way. When I was 25, they didn't have bottle service. But yeah, we went out, we spent money, and but the truth is, when you write a business plan, you really need to write a business plan with your checkbook in front of you and understand what you have to give up to grow that business. But at the end of the day, you're growing something. You own it, right? There's a total. You could work for me. You could be the greatest guy in the world. You're not building anything.
Yeah, you build it for me, right?
I mean, in fairness, if we got into it, you're going to be out of a job. I'm not that guy, but you know what I mean, right? And you're not taking anything with it. So some people are there to get you from A to B, and then other people get you from B to C, right? So I'm hoping that most of the people that I have now could, you know, we could sort of roll this or run this to the end. And they'll either become, you know, percentage owners of it or at least be vested in my business.
Awesome. So if you enjoyed this video, give us a comment below. We're looking to do more of these. And the best part about franchising is that anybody can get started, and you've got a playbook, and you can build an amazing business and enjoy all the fruits of your labor with hard work, dedication, and treating people right. So,
absolutely.